Have you ever found yourself facing a seemingly simple problem that required far more than a cursory glance to solve? Or perhaps you've come across a logic puzzle that intrigued you, even if you didn't immediately know the answer. If you've experienced this, then you already know how fascinating the world of logic problems can be. In today's discussion, we'll explore some of the most challenging and interesting logic puzzles that everyone should be able to solve. Get ready to put your brain to work in a deep, strategic way. Logic problems are undoubtedly one of the best ways to exercise your mind. They require you to think clearly, precisely, and often out of the box. Solving logic puzzles isn't just about having fun or passing the time. It's also a powerful way to develop critical thinking, analysis, and decision-making skills. Today, we'll break down a series of classic puzzles that, with patience and logic, anyone can solve. And the best part, we'll explain the process behind each one, so you'll never be stuck on these tricky challenges again. Let's dive in. One of the first puzzles that comes to mind is the well-known prisoner and hats puzzle. Imagine that three prisoners are locked in separate cells. They can see each other's hats, but not their own. The hats come in two colors, red and green. The prisoners know that one of them will be freed, and the first prisoner to figure out the color of their own hat will be the one set free. The question is, how can a prisoner deduce the color of their own hat? At first glance, this puzzle may seem impossible, but with logical deduction, it's quite solvable. If a prisoner sees two red hats on the other prisoners, they can immediately deduce that their own hat must be green. Why? Because there can only be two colors, so if the other two prisoners are wearing red hats, the only possible option for the third prisoner is a green hat. If a prisoner sees one red and one green hat, they can't be sure of their own hat color right away, but over time, they'll realize that since the other prisoners are still unsure of their hats, their own must be green. This puzzle illustrates the importance of deductive reasoning. The key is not rushing to conclusions, but instead taking a step-by-step approach to eliminate possibilities and arrive at the correct solution. This type of reasoning is crucial in many aspects of life, from decision-making in the workplace to solving everyday problems. Let's move on to another classic that requires a bit more planning and sequencing. The wolf, goat, and cabbage puzzle. Imagine you're standing on the bank of a river with a boat, and you need to transport a wolf, a goat, and a sack of cabbage across the river. However, there's a catch. You can only carry one item at a time. The problem is, you can't leave the wolf and the goat together, as the wolf will eat the goat, and you can't leave the goat with the cabbage, as the goat will eat it. How can you get all three across safely? This puzzle involves a combination of strategy and forward thinking. The solution requires you to realize that, by taking one item at a time, you need to ensure the wolf and the goat are never left alone together, nor the goat and the cabbage. Here's how it works. First, take the goat across the river and leave it on the other side. Then, go back alone and take the wolf across. But when you get to the other side, you must leave the wolf and take the goat back with you. Leave the goat on the starting side and take the cabbage across. Finally, go back for the goat. By following this sequence, you'll successfully transport all three items without any of them being eaten. This puzzle demonstrates the importance of sequencing and anticipating outcomes. As we solve problems like this, we learn how to think strategically and forecast the results of our actions, a skill that's useful for everything from project planning to making daily decisions. Next, let's tackle a problem that combines logic and mathematics. The classic clock angle puzzle. Imagine you're looking at an analog clock, and you need to figure out the angle between the hands at exactly 3:15. At first, this seems like an easy question, but the trick lies in the movement of the hands. The minute hand isn't exactly at the 15-minute mark because it moves continuously. Similarly, the hour hand is also moving, although much slower. To solve this puzzle, we need to break down the components. We know that a clock is a 360 circle, and there are 12 hours on the clock. Each hour, therefore, represents 3,360 divided by 12. The minute hand moves 6 per minute, 360 divided by 60 minutes. But since we're dealing with 3:15, the hour hand is slightly ahead of the 3 o'clock mark because it moves as time passes. At 3:15, the hour hand has moved 7.5 beyond the 3 o'clock position, since 15 minutes is a quarter of an hour, and 30 divided by 4 gives us 7.5. So, the total angle between the hands of the clock at 3:15 is 7.5. This puzzle teaches you how to apply mathematical reasoning to real-world objects. It shows how you can break down a complex problem into smaller steps and use basic arithmetic to arrive at the solution. This type of reasoning is vital not just for puzzles, but for tasks like budgeting, planning, and pattern analysis. Now, let's look at another classic puzzle that involves logical associations, the house and hobbies puzzle. Imagine there are 3 houses, each painted a different color, and in each house lives a person with a different hobby. The clues you have are: the person in the red house likes swimming, the person in the blue house likes reading, and the person in the green house likes cycling. How do you figure out who lives in which house? This puzzle requires a careful approach to organization and deduction. The key to solving it lies in systematically working through the information. For example, you can start by assigning the hobbies to the people based on the color of the houses. The person in the red house must like swimming, the person in the blue house likes reading, and the person in the green house likes cycling. The challenge is to deduce who lives in which house, and this is where deductive reasoning comes in. By considering the clues carefully and analyzing the situation, you can eventually determine who lives where. This puzzle demonstrates how important it is to organize information logically. By systematically eliminating incorrect possibilities, you can narrow down the options until only one solution remains. This type of analytical thinking is essential in various scenarios, from making decisions at work to solving problems in your personal life. Let's also explore a problem involving 5 friends and their hobbies. Imagine you're at a party with 5 friends and each person has a different hobby. You know certain clues, like John doesn't like football and Carlos doesn't like music, but you need to figure out who likes which activity. How do you go about solving this puzzle? This problem is an excellent exercise in logical deduction and pattern recognition. By systematically using the clues to eliminate possibilities, you can figure out which friend enjoys which activity. The trick is to organize the clues in a table or chart, allowing you to visualize the possible combinations and gradually rule out incorrect ones. This method of solving problems by process of elimination is a valuable skill, not only in puzzles, but in decision-making processes in all aspects of life. Solving problems like these is more than just about finding the right answer. It's about training your brain to think more logically, systematically, and creatively. Every time you solve a puzzle, you're improving your ability to analyze situations, recognize patterns, and make decisions logically. Moreover, solving puzzles like these helps keep your mind sharp, preventing cognitive decline and promoting neuroplasticity. Research shows that regularly engaging with puzzles and logical challenges can improve working memory, boost concentration, and even help with complex problem solving in the workplace. The benefits of training your brain through logic puzzles are far-reaching and enduring. Logic puzzles have a rich history, dating back to ancient Greece. Famous philosophers like Aristotle and Euclid were already exploring logical questions and reasoning long before modern times. These puzzles played a significant role in shaping the field of formal logic and deductive reasoning, which are still central to many academic disciplines today, such as mathematics, computer science, and philosophy. These types of puzzles are more than just fun pastimes. They have been crucial in teaching us how to think, analyze, and reason about the world around us. So, whether you're solving puzzles for fun or to improve your cognitive skills, you're participating in a long tradition of intellectual exploration that goes back thousands of years.